Hey guys, welcome. My name's Dane. Today I'm just going to share some specific stories that I've experienced. And yeah, I'm going to basically talk about some over the top, like demonic manifestations. And for me, my belief is that at the core of all this gang stalking, it's demonic. This the root of all of it is evil. Obviously, it's not good people. It's not good people doing these things and putting you through all these things, right? But I had to acknowledge that if it's spiritual, I need spiritual weapons, right? So a lot of these things in these stories that I'm going to tell, it's like there's what physically happened, but there's also a level of spiritual information being exchanged. And there's a Bible verse that says things of the Spirit must be discerned by the Spirit. So a spiritual thing must be understood by the Spirit. And when you don't have God's Spirit inside you to reveal spiritual matters to you, you come to everything's confusing because you're seeing the manifestation of these spiritual things, but you have no understanding of it. So like in the physical, it's very what you see with your eyes and what you hear with your ears, right? In the spirit, it's like it's a deeper thing. And so when these things were happening, it wasn't just what physically happened, but there was like I said, there was a depth in the spirit where I'm like, I knew, it's like I had extra information almost. And that's like what discernment is, spiritual discernment. You're able to understand things of the spirit. So those of you that don't have a relationship with God, that haven't accepted Jesus into their heart, that don't have the Holy Spirit, right? You're going to fall for a lot of traps and tricks because this stuff is not simple. Because you're messing with spiritual reality. You're messing with demons that are very smart. And if you don't understand things of the spirit, they have so much advantage over you because you're going to fall for all these surface level things, right? So what I'm saying is you're going to need help. And God can give you that help, and it's like you're not even going to know who to trust without God. But the Holy Spirit will guide you into all truth, and you need to seek God. So, sorry, I'm not trying to preach at you guys, but honestly, it's really important. So I'm just going to tell maybe 3 of the things that have happened to me. Like, there's a lot more, probably upwards of 10, 15, maybe 20 of these like over-the-top demonic manifestations. And so it took me a while to understand what it was too. Like the first story that I'm going to tell you was like, it was strange, and I didn't understand it at first, but I knew there was something not natural about it because like I said, there was something spiritually that was happening. So I'll just set the scene for this one and just tell it like it happened. Like I was with this dude, and this is when I was living on the street. So dude I was with, he's like, I need to charge my phone. So he goes across the street from where we were like hanging out at, and because it's the only outlet. So he plugs his phone in there and comes back over the street where we're at, and so we're hanging out there, and the guy, like, he loses track of where of time basically, and he forgot his phone's over there. So like a couple minutes had passed, and he looks back over there, and it's missing. So he's like, "Oh no, my phone," you know. So he goes back over there, and obviously whoever took it's probably gone, you know. It only been a couple minutes, but he's like, "Come with me," you know. And this dude's on crutches, right? So like I'm kind of like hanging out with him. I feel bad, like, oh dude, he just lost his phone. But I'm also like, man, I don't want to get involved in this, because like stuff like this, you know, obviously this is how people get hurt, you know. Someone steals a phone, they're not trying to give it up, or the dude that got us, like, it's like stuff like this happens out there. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll go with him and see what's up, but I'm not really trying to get like stabbed over this. So we go over across the street, and there's like a dude that's over there. Other people are like, this block's just busy too, for the most part, and so people are like in and out of their car, like going to business. People are like there to get drugs and all that stuff. So you leave your stuff out, it's getting stolen. So honestly, dude kind of had it coming. He should know better. But anyways, sorry I'm dragging this out a bit, but dude is like, he starts asking this dude, "Hey, you stole my..." Like, he's convinced it's this one guy that's there, and I don't think it's him, but he's like going off on this dude, and the dude's kind of like just like brushing him off at first. The guy he's accusing is just kind of like, "I don't have your phone." Yeah. And then the guy with the crutches that I'm with is like not letting it go, and so he's kind of like getting more aggressive with him. And the dude he's accusing like turns around, and this is where it was weird too, because he's like, "Man, why you getting all gangster with me?" And he starts going off, and then all of a sudden, like, as he's getting angry, like, this dude manifests, and he stomps his foot. It was just a real, this whole interaction was just weird. Like, he stomps his foot and puts like a sign up to his mouth, and he does something weird. He's like, stomps his foot, he goes, and it's like, I was like, what the heck, you know? But like I said, there was like something spiritual too. I mean, that might sound corny, but it was like creepy. Like, in his eyes was a weird look, like his body language, like the hissing and the stomping at the same time. It was like whatever was in him once he was angry came up and manifested. And dude didn't even say anything after that. And I've noticed that that's kind of common. It's like when these manifestations happen, it's like this thing comes up and then it goes back down a lot of times. And I don't even know if the person's aware of what happened. Right? But the confirmation for this too was like this dude, so after he did that, he turned around and walked across the street. And once he got across the street, the worst smell I've ever smelled came to me. It was just like putrid, disgusting, rotten. I don't even know. Like, I can't really even put what it was, but I think it was like another like demonic manifestation. Was just like, that's what smell this spirit had. And that's the only time I've really ever smelled anything that I think was spiritual. And that might sound crazy or whatever, but I'm telling you, there was nothing to make that smell. And it happened right after this dude like walked away. It was like what he left was this scent of just disgusting smell, right? So that was one thing that happened. Another time, I was in a different city, experiencing the same type of stuff, and I'm walking to a friend's house, just through like a normal neighborhood, and this guy, I'm walking past this truck, and when I'm right by the truck, this guy, he pops his head out the window, And this dude goes, "You challenging me, boy?" Right? Super hillbilly, redneck, like. But out of nowhere, I hadn't said nothing to him. Wasn't even looking at this guy. So for him to say this was weird. It was like, but when I looked at him too, like I said, there was like this spiritual exchange that I'm like, I knew it was a spirit on this guy because of the energy it was putting off. Was like so. It was like a just. See, this is the thing I struggle with, is like with the whole gang stalking thing. Like I said, things of the spirit are discerned by the spirit. So if you're going through something spiritual and you try to explain it physically to a person that has no depth or understanding of spiritual things, they cannot accept what you say. And that's why people will say you're crazy. There's no, even if you explain the spiritual stuff, like, it's like you're speaking Chinese to them. Right? So yeah, it's not going to compute, because things of the spirit need to be filtered and understood by the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, right? Who leads us into truth and guides us, right? So you need help. I'll tell you one more story. So anyway, I didn't really finish that, but that was the end of it. Like, dude says that, and I say, no, I'm not challenging you. Just walk into a friend's house. And dude didn't say nothing else, but it was just like one of those times that they try to put fear on you, you know? This dude's just like a big burly redneck, you know? Looks like he's got a shotgun on him, you know, type dude. So I just kept walking, but I'm just like, man, that was not normal. Another time, I was with my girlfriend, my ex, and she had got a little ways ahead of me, so I'd like stopped to tie my shoe, and this was early in the morning, like 5 in the morning, right? Like just like sunrise. And this happened she was far enough away for where she didn't really hear or see what happened here. And that's something that always kind of happens when you're with someone you actually know, and like these things don't happen in a way that they can notice. That further drives a wedge between you and other people you trust, right? Because they start looking at you all crazy when you tell them what you're going through, right? Because they can't understand it. Spiritual things need to be understood by the Spirit. And that's why if you're not operating in the Holy Spirit, sorry, this is a side note, but I have to say this. If you're not operating by the Holy Spirit and you're in the occult, you're easily misled, because you're dealing with spiritual entities that have a leg up on you, and you don't have the Holy Spirit showing you what's what. So false light, which is people like in the New Age and in other things, they fall for false light because they don't have God revealing these things as what they truly are, if that makes sense. So anyways, I'm walking across this this crosswalk, and there's a guy walking towards me. He's not like looking at me or nothing. It's like just kind of this disheveled homeless guy. And when I'm walking towards him and he gets next to me, it's like this dude just like right in my ear. He's like, "Wow," like growls, and just like a super creepy. That's all he does, right? And the weird part was like, I tried after that. I'm like, what was that? You know, I'm trying to talk to him, and this guy doesn't even like. He just keeps walking like head down. It was just like, it was like automatic almost, like it didn't come from him. And so, yeah, those are just three stories that have happened to me. I'll probably do a part 2, because I have definitely more to share. Those are just three that off the top of my head. So anyways, let me know if you've experienced something like this. Talk to you guys later.